At 20, I wanted to be rich. I wanted fancy cars. I wanted beautiful houses, watches, palm trees. Basically, I wanted a flashy life. But do you want to know the truth? That's not what real success is actually. Because over there, I see millionaires every day who are slaves to their own businesses. I started working out when I was 14. At first, it wasn't for my health, it wasn't for performance. I simply started because I felt uncomfortable in my own skin at the time. It's true that people made fun of me a lot. They made fun of my big nose, just my look, my appearance, whether it was girls or others. And I really believed that nobody liked me. And I really wanted that to change, and quickly, because I felt very uncomfortable in my own skin. And one day a classmate showed me a magazine, I think it was Flex at the time, and on the cover was Ronnie Coleman. And then he said to me, if you become like him, no one will ever mess with you again. And that really stuck with me. At that moment, I lost it, I snapped, and I told myself, all right, fine, I'm going to become a monster and no one will ever walk all over me again. I'm going to build as much muscle as possible to ultimately hide the flaws I have in my head. So I started doing push-ups, sit-ups, all sorts of exercises in my little boy's room when I was 14. And the truth is, in the end, I wasn't looking for a body, I was looking for a real suit of armor. So yes, it worked, but only for a while. I built a physique, a persona, a wall. Yes, I earned respect. I also won trophies later on, but deep down, I was still that kid full of doubt. Because in the end, you can be strong on the outside and empty inside. You can lift 200 kilos and still fall apart when your life goes off the rail. And at 20, I wish someone had told me having a good physique is great, but it's not the end goal. It's just a tool, not an identity. You want to be strong? Then be strong when you fall, be strong when you're afraid, be strong when you have to start all over again without knowing if it will work out. And today, I'm 43 years old, I've had my ups, and I've had some very, very low points too. I had back surgery, I got a hospital-acquired infection, so I was stuck in a hospital bed for 3 months, as you know. Then a back brace for more than 6 months, whole nights unable to sleep, mornings asking myself, will I ever walk again? But I also experienced something else, something that no trophy had ever given me. Something that no amount of muscle mass has ever brought me. I'm talking, of course, about her. I'm talking about my wife, Marjorie. She was the only one who stayed when I was unable to get up. The only one who loaded my weights for me when I couldn't do it myself and when I returned to the gym several months after my surgery. And of course, then came Nolan, my son. He never saw my podiums, he never saw my competitions. He saw me on stage only once for a guest posing, but he sees the look in my eyes every morning. He sees my consistency, he sees my strength, he sees my choices, and he has become my reason, my anchor, my true victory. And that's when I understood something, is that the most important thing isn't what you build on the outside, it's really what you cultivate on the inside. Respect, love, integrity being an example. So if I could really talk to the 20-year-old Julien, I would tell him, hey, build your body if you want. But above all, build your life, your real life, with people who love you, with a business that stands strong when you are down, when you fall, with a mission that goes beyond your biceps or your Instagram feed. Because in the end, what really matters isn't how many plates you can put on each side of your barbell. It's not how many centimeters your arms measure. It's how many times you can get back up for your loved ones, for yourself. You think that if you sculpt your body, you'll fix your life, you'll solve your problems, that if you have abs, you'll be more confident, that if you have huge arms, people will respect you. Let me tell you directly, that's completely false. The body is just a tool, it's not a destination, it's a gateway. It's not an end in itself. You can have the body of a Greek god and your self-esteem in pieces. And I've lived through that. I won dozens of competitions. I was on the cover of dozens of magazines. And you know what? There were days when I was at my lowest. There were days when I had a mutant physique, but I had zero joy, zero inner peace. Because what you have on the outside will never make up for what you lack on the inside. And I've known guys with over 100 kilos of muscle and an identity as fragile as glass. As soon as they lost 3 kilos during a cut, they started doubting themselves. As soon as they got a negative comment on Instagram or YouTube criticizing them, they would fall apart. And do you want to know why? Because they had bet everything on their physique, on what's visible, and built nothing on the invisible. And at 20, I thought my body would protect me from mockery, from rejection. But the day you find yourself in the hospital, unable to move, well, that's when you understand something fundamental. Your body is a privilege, not an armor, and one day you're going to lose it, partially or completely. Injury, illness, old age, doesn't matter. And on that day, you'll see if you worked on the right muscle, your discipline, your mindset, your identity. So yes, train hard, regularly, seriously, but train to become strong on the inside, not just to be big and ripped on the outside. So don't lose yourself in the mirror. Don't let likes define your worth. Don't let others decide if you're enough. Your consistency, your ability to get up when you don't feel like it, the way you do things even when no one is watching. That's the real physique, the real muscle, the one that carries you even when everything falls apart. And above all, take care of your back, your knees, your joints, your sleep, because without health, you have nothing. And believe me, I'm not speaking in theory, I'm speaking from experience. And if I could talk to that 20-year-old kid and tell him, you really want to be strong, then start by respecting yourself. At 20, I thought that the guys who succeeded were motivated every single day. I actually believed that was their secret. A fiery mindset, crazy energy, something innate, but that's completely false. Motivation is just an emotion. It goes up, it goes down, it depends on the context, the weather, your mood, the last video you watched. On the other hand, discipline is non-negotiable. You want to move forward in life? Then forget about motivation and bet everything on discipline. I'm talking about the kind that gets you up at 5 in the morning, even when you slept badly, the kind that makes you go train, even when you don't feel like it, the kind that pushes you to create, to produce, to build, even when you're full of doubt. Do you think I'm always fired up? Do you think I always feel like making my videos, doing my workouts, my routines, my programs? Do you think it's easy to say no to certain opportunities, to certain temptations? Well, no. But I have a mission. And when you have a mission, you don't need to be motivated. You do what you have to do, period. And at 20, I wish someone had told me that success is the sum of small, invisible victories. Not the trophies, not the applause, but the tough mornings, the painful choices, the no's you had to say when you wanted to say yes. Discipline isn't sexy, no one sees it, but it's what changes your life. Create a simple routine, get up at the same time, do things even when no one is watching. Yes, it's annoying, but that's what sets you free. You want to become someone? Then start by doing what 99% of people don't do. Keep your own commitments. Because if you don't trust yourself, well, you'll spend your whole life frustrated. And I'm telling you this with complete honesty, discipline saved me. And it's not my physique, it's not my fame, it's not the money. It's the fact that I kept my word when everything else around me was falling apart. And at 20, I really wish someone had told me, don't trust your motivation, it will betray you. But if you hold on to your discipline, then one day it will be others who hold on to you. At 20, I wanted to be rich. I wanted nice cars, I wanted beautiful houses, watches, palm trees. Basically, I wanted a flashy life, a life where people look at me and say, that guy made it. And in the end, I ended up getting it. I managed to get my 2 villas, my 2 dream cars, a dream life in Miami in the sun. But you want to know the truth? That's not actually what real success is. Because over there, I see millionaires every day who are slaves to their own business. Guys who can buy anything they want, but who can say no to their clients, to their followers, or to their own ego. And you want to know what real wealth is? It's not money, it's freedom. The freedom to say no, the freedom to choose your projects, the freedom to spend the afternoon with your son without having to justify yourself. And today, that's what makes me proud. Not my car. It's being able to drop Nolan off at school every day, then go work out, then come home without a boss, without constraints, without having to wear a mask. But to get to this point, I had to build a business that doesn't depend on my biceps, a business that keeps running even if I'm injured, even if I'm sleeping, even if I'm tired. Because if your income depends 100% on your body, your time or your energy, then actually you're never free and you never will be. You just have golden chains. And at 20, I wish someone had told me, learn to sell, learn to build not just a physique, but an asset, something that works for you even when you don't have the strength. Money doesn't buy happiness, but I guarantee you, money buys time. And time is real life. Success isn't what you show, it's what you feel. And today, what makes me rich isn't what I have, it's what I can afford to turn down. And I was lucky enough to have that. I met a woman who saw more in me than just muscles, Marjorie. And she saw me strong. She also saw me weak, broken, down, pinned to the ground, bedridden. And she helped me get back up when I had no strength left. She believed in me even when I no longer believed in myself. And then Nolan arrivait d'un miracle, literally, after years of struggle, pain, and repeated miscarriages. He was born naturally, against all odds. And at that moment, everything changed. And the reason for my life became clear. I no longer train for aesthetics. I work to leave a mark, to be a guide, an example, a pillar. And that is my true strength today. It's not the size of my arms, but the quality of the man I am in my relationship, in my family, in my mission. And at 20, I wish someone had told me, find someone who lifts you up, not someone who holds you back. Don't run away from love under the pretext that you have a goal. The right person doesn't pull you away from your mission. They give you the strength to go further, to be more authentic, to be stronger. And if you think you need to be alone to succeed, then you're lying to yourself. Because yes, you go faster alone, but you go further together. No one prepares you for that, for failure, for falling, for pain, for that precise moment when you go from being a war machine to a man in pieces. For me, it was in 2017, a back surgery. As you know, a classic herniated disc at first glance, but behind that, it was hell. I caught a hospital-acquired infection, spondylodiscitis, and it was a bacteria that left me bedridden, eating away at my vertebrae. Not for a week, not for months, no, but 3 months without being able to move. I couldn't even turn over in bed. It was absolute torment. And in fact, at the time, the doctors told me that it might take me a year to walk again, maybe even never. Then they put me in a rigid brace for 6 months. There I was, the IFBB pro athlete, the guy who used to pose on stage, who won trophies now in a wheelchair on oxycodone, completely drained of all strength. And at that point, you think you're strong, but actually you're only strong when everything is going well. The real strength, you discover it when you have nothing left. Precisely when every day is a battle just to get up, to move, when you have to relearn everything, walking, getting dressed, believing in yourself. And you want to know what I did? Well, I started over little by little. First by doing push-ups and dips on my walker, then later with a resistance band, a chair, and then Marjorie helped me when I went back to the gym to load the machines, and I went back like a beginner, but with a new kind of determination. And 2 years later, I was back on stage at the IFBB Pro in Classic Physique, not for a podium finish, but simply to prove to myself that I was alive. And that day I understood something I had never realized in 25 years of bodybuilding. The real muscle isn't in your body, it's in your ability to rebuild yourself when everything falls apart. And at 20, I wish someone had told me you're going to fall and that's normal. But what will make you a man isn't avoiding injuries. It's knowing how to be reborn stronger, more genuine, more free. And today, if I'm still here, it's not because I avoided failures. No, it's precisely because I decided never to stay down. At 20, I wanted to change my body. Today, at 43, I want to change lives. I used to think strength was about muscles. Today, I know that true strength is discipline in silence. It's staying true to your mission, even when no one is watching. It's the ability to love, to endure, to lead. Do you want a beautiful life? Then start by becoming a man you respect, not the one who impresses on social media, not the one who shouts louder than the others, but the one who stands tall even when it's hard, the one who keeps moving forward even in the dark, the one who protects his own, who raises his standards, who stays true to his values. And when the whole world pushes you to give up, I'll say it honestly, I'm not perfect, I never have been, but I get up every day to be a little stronger, a little clearer, a little more aligned. And if you're here listening to these words, it's certainly because you carry that within you too. And no matter your past, no matter where you are, you can start over, you can rebuild, you can create your own legend. So remember this well. Don't try to impress the world. Build a world that you respect. And above all, never give up. Because at 43, I promise you, the real fight isn't about having a competition-ready body. No. It's about being proud of the man you are becoming. So if this video spoke to you, write it in the comments. I am building my legend. And don't forget to subscribe if you want real, raw, and useful content for men who want to get back up, whether it's after 30, 40, or even 50 years old. All right, I'll see you very soon for a new chapter. Bye-bye, and above all, never give up.